In this video, we're going to have a look at how to prepare a histogram. A histogram is a graphical way of representing a data set to help determine the spread of the data. Now, a histogram needs to have some core components. The first one is a title. The second one are labels on the both axes. Now, both axes need to have a scale, and that scale needs to be consistent across all of the axes. Now, the column lengths need to be equal, and there's no gaps in between the columns, and you leave a half interval gap at the beginning and end of the histogram. So let's have a look at now how to prepare a histogram based on an example data set. So we want to prepare a histogram for the data set that is provided to us. Now, when preparing histograms, what you want to do is you want to group together the frequency that occur within the data set. Now, this can be single values, or you can group the values together. So for our data set, we want to go from values from 61 through to 100. So I would be doing it in groups of 10. So my first group is going to be 61 to 70. Second group is going to be 71 to 80. Then 81 to 90. And 91 to 100. So now I need to go through and work out how many of the data fall within each group. So I've got 61, 67, then I've got 81, 83, 87, 88, and 89. Then I've got 90, 98, and 100. So within my first group, I've got 2. I've got 0 in my next group, 5 in my third group, and 3 in my last group. So this is the information I then take and plot onto my histogram. So the first step is to add in my axes. Then I need to go ahead and put in my scale for my x-axis. So I put it in my grouping, so 61 to 70, 71 to 80, 81 to 90, 91 to 100. And then put in my scale for my y-axis, which is my frequency. And that needs to go up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I can start plotting onto my histogram. So in my first group, I've got 2. Then I've got 0 in my second group. In my 81 to 90 group, I've got 5. And then in my last group, I've got 3. And you'll notice how I've got no gaps in between my groups. So now I also need to finish off my histogram by adding in labels. So my y-axis is going to be my frequency, and my x-axis is going to be what my data is. So we'll call it scores received. So now that I've added in labels for my x and my y axes, I could also add in a title if I knew what the data set represented, and I would have then completed my histogram. And then I can use this histogram to look at the spread of my data in between the groups that I selected.